Hello and welcome to Under the Hard Hat. This is a safety podcast for the construction industry, and my name is Brian Mesmer at Mesmer Safety on all the social medias. And today is Monday, April 18th, and Happy Distracted Driver Awareness Month. Now, we've been in this month for the last 3 weeks. The first week we discussed the second quarter cord inspection policy and process. Last week we took off because it was all about the auto accident claim reporting procedures, which are pretty common. Big thing out of that one is if you're involved in an auto accident in a work-related vehicle, is call the police. And then the next few weeks, we're just going to be discussing driving without distractions in our policy and other aspects of that initiative. So this week's Toolbox Talk is all about driving without distractions policy, but before we get into that policy, I think we need to define what driving distractions are. So a driving distraction is anything that takes your hands, your eyes, or your brain, los manos, los ojos, or your brainos, away from the task of driving. So a cell phone could take all three of them, your hands, your eyes, and your brain away from the task of driving. Or you could change the radio, change the station on the radio. That could be a hand distraction where you're taking your hand off the task of driving, or you could simply be daydreaming, and that would be a cognitive or a brain distraction. So our driving without distractions policy states, number one, employees are required to operate a vehicle or equipment in a safe manner and avoid driving distracted. Number two, while operating a motor vehicle, electronic devices shall not be used, whether the vehicle is in motion or stopped or at a traffic light. This prohibition includes both handheld devices and hands-free use on the device. If the employee must use an electronic device, i.e. your cell phone, the vehicle shall first be parked in a safe location before the electronic device is allowed to be used. Number three, GPS may be used so long as the address is programmed before putting the vehicle in motion. And number four, employees shall not view display screens or reach for electronic devices while the vehicle's in motion. So these are just the first four policy requirements. Mainly, they address the cell phone use, which is zero use. So please do not use your cell phones while driving. Another quick reminder, we have Safety Week coming up in 2 weeks. It will be the first week of May, or the first full week of May. So May 2nd through the 6th. Our theme this year, ironically, is driving safety. Now, this could be taken in two ways. One, you could be driving safely or use, Distracted Driving Awareness Month. This is kind of a continuation. Or two, you could be driving safety, like driving your safety program and driving the program to be better. So I thought it was pretty cheeky. If you have any questions, you can certainly reach out to your company safety professional, or you can message me directly. You can either use that Twitter or Instagram, or you can email me. Please don't forget to at least like and subscribe to this podcast so that you get the automatic updates. How do you subscribe to this podcast, you're asking? Well, that's pretty simple. You go into your podcast app for your Apple devices, and then you go down to the bottom right. I think it's bottom right. Let's double check while we're sitting here. And this is me buying time. Yeah, bottom right, it says search. You hit search, you type in Under the Hard Hat, and then you hit enter, and it'll pop up Under the Hard Hat, and you'll see this background behind me, and it says Under the Hard Hat, and it's super cool. And then you hit subscribe right there on the podcast app, and then every single week it automatically downloads, and you don't have to worry about getting an email from me or a message or seeing this on Twitter or Instagram or on LinkedIn. And then lastly but not least, thank you and be safe. Thank you for listening, and be safe. Actually, what I've started saying is be good and be safe. And if you can't be good, then at least be safe. And that's all I have. So have a great week. We'll talk to you next week.